Welcome into another edition of Buffalo Game Day Recap. I'm AJ Feldman. Joining me shortly from Highmark Stadium will be Sports Director Thad Brown. Now, the Dolphins came in on a 6-game losing streak. The Bills had beaten them 6 times in a row, and Buffalo was also coming off of their bye. Plenty of reasons to think it would be a blowout, but a slow start led to just a 3-3 game at the half. But in the final 30 minutes, the Bills were able to put this one away with a 26-11 win over the Dolphins. We now bring in Sports Director Thad Brown. Thad, not pretty, but a win is a win in the NFL, and that's just what the Bills got this Halloween afternoon.
Yeah, AJ, you know, there's going to be a few games like this the Bills are going to play in the next few weeks and really the rest of the season where they're going to be big favorites and expected to win by, even bigger margins. But really, it's just about getting the W. As Josh Allen said, it's not about trying to be the best team in the league every Sunday. Just be the best team on the field that particular day. And the Bills did enough of that. Now, to be fair, they got real lucky in this game. Dolphins missed a short field goal in the first half. Miami then gave away at least 3 more points because they didn't know how to properly run a man in motion. In the second half, there was a muff punt that easily could have been a touchdown for the Dolphins. And then we had another patented pitch to nowhere from Josh Allen that could have flipped this game on its head, with Buffalo leading only by 6 midway through the fourth quarter. So although the Bills won by 15 and covered, which is the most hilarious part of this game, they were this close to not only having the game be closer, but maybe even being a loss. But bottom line, they got the W, found a way to make it happen in the second half. Offense that sputtered in the first half, they got it rolling. Deion Dawkins talked about getting everybody's energy up, realizing there's a level they have to hold on to and play to. And Josh Allen had an interesting comment. He now came to the stadium today fully in the Halloween spirit, dressed as Phil Mickelson. Mickelson actually talked to the Bills, back in the summertime about finding inner peace and being able to relax. And Allen said that those words kind of rung in his head and helped make him play a lot better in the second half.
Yeah, I think it's just self-knowledge, understanding who you are. I know I don't play well when I'm frustrated, and again, hearing that from, a Hall of Fame golfer, one of the best of all time, to say that type of thing, that resonated well with me, because that's exactly kind of how I feel too. So, it helped me today, and hopefully that'll help me in the future too.
And what a special, moment that was for me, for our team, and an honor to you get a guy of that stature to talk to your team, and it was a pretty cool half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it was. So it was an awesome opportunity for us.
Now, Josh Allen talked about inner zen before Sean McDermott came out for his press conference, and McDermott was asked about it. And McDermott kind of rolled his eyes at the whole idea, saying, if you can explain to me what zen is, then maybe I'll figure it out. Look, bottom line, the Bills figured out how to get a win today. Not pretty, but it was a win. You're going to hear a lot of cliches, and I know I've said them about 1,000 times too. It still all matters. W's a W. AJ, I think we ended up going back to you pretty much the same way you sent it out to me.
Yeah, like you said, a win is a win. And you just look around the AFC and the NFL, sometimes your bad games, those turn into losses. The Bengals, they played the Jets today. They lost after the Bengals, we thought that maybe they were the new top dogs in the AFC North, the AFC. So whenever you can get a win in the win column, that's a good thing. I think that first half when they really struggled, the running game did kind of slow them down a little bit. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, they combined for 7 carries in the first half. 4 of them went for 1 or fewer yards. To pitch start the offense, I want that ball in Josh Allen's hands, either running it or throwing it. I don't really want him handing it off. You have a 1-yard gain, a 0-yard gain, a gain for a loss. That turns those 1st and 10s into 2nd and longs. It doesn't help you build on your drive, and I think the Bills really, did not benefit from that in the first half. Second half, it was a lot of Cole Beasley kind of being that short running game, getting those big 3rd down conversions. Now Moss and Singletary a little more effective in the second half, so I will give them some credit there. I think once again, you have to be concerned for the special teams. Like you said, another muff for Isaiah McKenzie. I believe that's 4 times this season. He's already put the ball on the ground in 7 games. Could they look for another option there? I don't know, but you can't be fumbling the ball more than half of your games if you're trying to go on a deep postseason run. That might actually come back to cost them. Like you said, that could have easily been a touchdown. And Matt Hawk, he has not had a great start to his Bills career. A 19-yard punt in the first half. That led to Miami's only points of the first half. A 19-yard punt, that can easily lead to a touchdown. That's a big momentum killer when, it's basically a turnover on downs when it's just a 19-yard punt. That, getting those 19 yards is not that difficult for an NFL offense these days. Let's head back out to Thad Brown in Orchard Park. As I said, Cole Beasley really found his way back into the offense after a couple of weeks where he didn't really do much at all.
Yeah, AJ, let me hit on a couple things you just talked about. Two really good points you made. Number one, on the return man, the Bills do have Marquez Stevenson, who could be an option if McKenzie keeps putting the ball on the ground. And secondly, I want to give the Dolphins credit. You know, back in that first game in Miami, the Bills ran all over them. Well, Miami seemed like they clearly came into this one thinking there's no way Buffalo's going to run on us again, made adjustments, were able to take that away, on top of the fact they have two really good corners that for the second game this year kind of took Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders to a degree away as well. So the Dolphins had a good game plan and executed it pretty well. But end of the day, you can take the running game away, you can take Sanders away, you can take Diggs away. The Bills still have Cole Beasley. And Beasley was the one that got this offense jump-started in the second half. 10 catches for $110 overall. He had 8 for 89 of that in the second half alone. And like AJ said, this is a guy that a couple weeks ago, people were wondering if he really had a role in this offense. But Beasley stayed patient, never got upset, and knew it was only a matter of time.
He's just a guy that kind of does his job, and, you know, he hadn't had a lot of opportunity in the last few weeks. Teams were kind of keen on him, playing funnel, trying to force him inside with help. Finally, he got some opportunities today. He made some plays for us, huge plays.
We have a lot of weapons, so it makes it a lot easier to stay patient. Because you know you got other guys that are capable, and you know when they start doing some things to kind of take you out of it, it opens up things for other guys. And you know when you have a team with so many weapons, eventually it always comes back around.
The first half we just came off slow, and just like what I said, we went into that locker room. And we made sure that guys knew that this ain't us. And we got on that field and we put our best foot forward and we said, look, this is who and we are, and we have to keep this standard at all times.
Give Miami credit. They had us a little bit off balance there in the first half, and you know, did some things, quite honestly, that they had success with in that first game, but didn't do them as much in that first game as they came out today and did.
We got to find a way to do it earlier and not put ourselves in a bind like that, not rely on the defense to go out there and make plays like they did today.
You don't want to have games like this, but I think you need them to grow. And, you know, we didn't play our best first half, but it showed a lot about the guys in the locker room and who we have. You know, nobody gave up. Nobody just it wasn't too big for them. Just with it, came out and executed like we know how in the second half.
Sean McDermott talked after the game about life in the NFL. He said, look, life in the NFL is every week. Life in the NFL is small margins, and records don't matter. And this was one of those games. Now, the Bills, I don't think they really need that reminder. Sean McDermott, last 2 years, 19-3 against non-playoff teams. This has always been a squad in Buffalo that knows how to take care of their business when they're supposed to. They did that again today. One other note about Beasley. Remember, 4 weeks ago, it's the last time the Bills played a home game here. Afterward, Beasley tweeted that he wasn't happy. The fans were booing him, you know, implying it was about the vaccine and his stance on it. Today, I asked him about his reaction to the fan reaction of him, and he said, look, you know, I don't know if they were booing or saying bees, which is what some fans said they were saying, and I'm sure some were 4 weeks ago too. But Beasley said, look, they were loud, and I enjoyed it. So everything seems hunky-dory here in Bills Beasley land as well. AJ, let's take a look at the numbers from today. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, thanks, Thad. On the Buffalo side, after a slow start, Josh Allen picked it up in the second half, finishing with 249 yards in the air, 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown that was very important to many, many people out there. He was also the team's leading rusher with 55 yards. A bit of a quiet day for Stephon Diggs, but he did have 5 catches and a touchdown. And as you mentioned, a lot of Cole Beasley today. 10 catches for 110 yards, a lot of those moving the chains on third down in the second half when the Bills needed it most. For the Dolphins, a week after throwing for 4 touchdowns, Tua had none, though he did get 1 on the ground, and he finished with 205 yards and an interception. Devontae Parker led all Dolphins with 85 receiving yards. That's a name floated around as maybe a potential trade deadline target. That is coming up on Tuesday. And a week after talking all about the Bills' red zone struggles, the Bills cashed in for 3 touchdowns on 4 attempts. Small sample size, of course, but a good sign for the red zone offense today. Now, with all of the offense's early struggles, the defense had another great game from start to finish. Just 11 points allowed, forced a turnover, which sealed the game when it was, kind of already over, but a great turnover as well there. And they got the stops that they needed to. I thought Ed Oliver really had another impressive day, shutting down the run, creating pressure. Oliver talked about how he was able to build on his performance throughout the game. Now, Oliver did have a sack that was negated by a Jerry Hughes offsides penalty. Oliver said that Hughes would have to owe him some money for that, and according to Hughes, in Halloween costume, it doesn't sound like that'll be coming.
They kind of do something to you. Once you get one, you hear, especially at home, you hear that crowd go crazy, like, damn, I need another one of those. I need another one. I need another one. I need to hit the quarterback. I need to do something. So just that feeling, it just overwhelms you. It just take over your body. You're just playing so free. You're just trying to impact, get another one. So I just let that take over me and just let that just guide me.
I got to watch the tape because I feel like we were both moving at the same time with the ball, but you got to go with what the officials call. So tell Ed we'll just chalk it up to a veteran's mistake.
Now Hughes went with the look from the town. He called himself the muscle of the group, adding he doesn't have the looks to be Ben Affleck. Thad, I talked before about how some of the team's special teams players disappointed. One guy who didn't, kicker Tyler Bass. Another big day, 2 for 2 with a 57-yarder, and that his teammates were appreciative of his efforts today.
Yeah, AJ, that 57-yarder, too, would have been good from about 77. Now, look, he didn't hit it like a normal field goal where you're looking for height to clear the line of scrimmage. He kind of drove it like a kickoff, and Bass has very often hit kickoffs from his own 35-yard line through the uprights, off the uprights. That's a 75-yard kick. He did one of those today in a real place-kicking situation, got it over the line, and drilled it. And like I said, it would have been good from a whole lot longer than 57. After the game, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer were asked about their kicker. And although he's relatively new to the team, you could tell Bass has already made quite an impression.
T-Bass, man, he's just
that guy. That's that guy. He is him.
He just walks around. I don't even know what he does all day. Honestly, I don't know.
Call of Duty with him. He's pretty good at it.
I don't know what those specialists do all day when we're at work, but whatever he's doing, he got to keep doing it.
And that's really all you need to say about Tyler Bass. He's just a guy. He's that guy. And he's been really good for the Bills. Really, the only thing that Bass has not done is made that late game winner. Now, like we said, I don't know if we're going to see many of those late game winning situations for the Bills coming up. It's the Jags next week, the Jets after that. Again, as AJ pointed out, the Jets did just pick off Cincinnati, and that game was in New Jersey. That's where the Bills will play the Jets in 2 weeks. So, look, there's no guarantees in the NFL, and the Bills have to keep handling their business. They did that today. I think this was a good opportunity for the Bills, if they needed one, to be reminded of what things are like. They got a little fortunate. They got enough to get it done. I think the other thing to remember, too, is this Bills team is so talented and has so many different ways they can beat you. Today it was the Beasley defense day. Next week it might be the Stephon Diggs, Zach Moss day. The week after that it might be the Josh Allen hurling over defenders day. That is where championship teams are built from. I'm not saying this team is a championship team, but winning this game is what championship teams will do. We are done here at Highmark Stadium for this particular program, but I'll be over on the News 8 Facebook page in a few moments answering questions from you, talking more about this Bills win. Until then, live at Highmark Stadium, I'm Thad Brown. AJ, back to you.
Thank you, Thad. And yes, as you mentioned, on the road next week, Bills going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, who after their loss to the Seahawks today, they are now 1-6 on the season. That'll do it for us. Be sure to tune in next week for more Buffalo Game Day Recap, as well as all the Bills coverage you can handle all week long on News 8 and RochesterFirst.com. For Thad Brown, I'm AJ Feldman. Have a great rest of your nights and a happy Halloween.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.